In this video, we take a look at the latest XRP news. Will XRP be able to fly to the moon? Right answers in the comments. In the aftermath of the landmark XRP verdict, the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) has increased its attempts to pursue a mid-case appeal against Ripple. This legal case, which began in December 2020, is about whether Ripple violated securities laws by making XRP accessible to regular investors via several cryptocurrency exchanges. While the SEC has aggressively claimed that XRP is a security subject to federal securities laws, Ripple has long asserted that it is not. Ripple recently submitted a paper saying that the SEC had not made a convincing case for an appeal. However, the SEC's response, filed on Friday, September 8, emphasized the case's importance, stating that the issues raised by the recent ruling presented precisely the kinds of knotty legal problems that prompted Congress to provide for interlocutory review cases of the same nature. While interlocutory appeal should be the exception, not the rule, the SEC argued. The SEC's decision to appeal stems from Judge Annalisa Torres's July 13 ruling in the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York, in which she determined that while Ripple did violate federal securities law in its sale of XRP to institutional investors, the company did not violate federal securities law in its sale of XRP to retail investors. Meanwhile, in reaction to the recent SEC filing, Ripple's chief legal officer, Stuart Alderoty, shared his thoughts on the topic, stating, "Another SEC filing, another disingenuous shift. After years of its chairman declaring that the rules are clear and must be followed, the SEC now demands, and not to be followed, the SEC now demands it appeal to clarify these knotty legal problems." Ripple's concern that the SEC's attitude has been inconsistent is highlighted in Alderoty's statement, highlighting the need for openness and clarity in the regulatory approach to the crypto industry. Nonetheless, the decision of this appeal request now lies with Judge Annalisa Torres, while the legal struggle between Ripple and the SEC continues. If she accepts the SEC's request, the case will be sent to the Second Circuit Court of Appeals, where the whole crypto world will be waiting to see how this historic legal struggle plays out. According to ChatGPT, XRP has a chance of reaching a worth of $500.50 by 2024. While this figure is astronomical given its present market position, it highlights the potential that XRP has in the minds of its supporters. The model also speculated that if XRP achieves such a huge gain, it may overtake Bitcoin and Ethereum in terms of market value. Such a result would be unprecedented and have the potential to reshape the whole crypto ecosystem. It is important to stress, however, that this is simply speculative and should not be construed as financial advice. Regulatory actions, technical improvements, and market sentiment, among other things, might all have an impact on XRP's future. Having said that, the cryptocurrency industry has always been full of surprises. While XRP has several difficulties, from continuing legal disputes to mainstream adoption, its proponents remain hopeful. Attorney John Deaton, the creator of Crypto Law Us, has dropped 3 indications about his upcoming big announcement, which he plans to make later today. Deaton tweeted earlier this week that if all goes as planned, he would make a huge announcement today, September 22. The post left the XRP community in suspense, with many asking Attorney Deaton for tips to help them prepare for the so-called big announcement. Notably, Deaton ultimately revealed 3 clues when Junglins 2.0, a renowned XRP fan, asked for information about the announcement. "Can we get a hint on what the possible announcement tomorrow might be?" John Deaton, the XRP enthusiast, inquired. The pro-XRP lawyer responded by noting that the major news is centered on an image he linked to the tweet, the XRP ledger, XRP, or the ETH Eco story. The first hint came in the form of an image showing Deaton intently reviewing some paperwork. Although the contents of the documents were not visible in the image, XRP aficionados believe they may be related to the current SEC Ripple litigation. If this is correct, Deaton may be providing a substantial update on the case later today. Notably, Attorney Deaton is extensively involved in the action as an amicus curiae, representing thousands of XRP holders. Deaton's assistance in the litigation aided Ripple's partial success against the SEC. Deaton's second indication was that the announcement may be regarding XRP. Notably, XRP is a decentralized public blockchain that is critical to the XRP operation. If Deaton's statement is on the XRP, the crypto world may see him offer the most recent information about the top blockchain technology. It is worth noting that Deaton does not typically remark on XRP's technology. His Bitcoin tweets have largely focused on the SEC Ripple litigation. Remember that leading crypto stakeholders, including Deaton, recently participated in a big conversation over the Ethereum. IXU. This comes after Steven Nareyoff, an early Ethereum advisor, raised concerns about possible SEC manipulation before and after the ICO. Nareyoff also claimed that Ethereum breached the conditions of its initial coin offering, ICO, and that it is impossible to determine the number of investors that took part in the event. Deaton said shortly after Nerov's accusation that he was working on putting the early Ethereum advisor on his Crypto Law TV program. Attorney Deaton is expected to announce later today that Nerov will appear as a guest on an upcoming edition of the program. Meanwhile, it's difficult to predict the precise contents of Deaton's major statement. Several XRP community members, however, have opted to remain silent and wait for the top lawyer to make the major statement today, as promised. The tweet on X included a photo of Garlinghouse standing in front of the SEC headquarters, along with the remark Gensler did not invite them in. While in Washington, Garlinghouse stated he had to snap a selfie in front of the SecGov building. If you're wondering, no, Chair Gensler did not invite us in. This is the second issue between the SEC and Ripple Labs. The SEC has tried to overturn a judge's decision in Ripple's legal struggle. The SEC said in a court filing that the judge's finding raised complicated legal problems that required consideration by a federal appeals court before the matter could be resolved. Garlinghouse voiced his displeasure with the case and the SEC strategy in an interview with Bloomberg. He claimed that Ripple has already spent more than $100 million on the legal fight, underscoring the company's dissatisfaction with the process. In a Bloomberg interview, Garlinghouse was questioned about Gensler's gloomy views on Bitcoin, and he answered, "Gary Gensler is a hammer, and everything looks like a nail." The regulatory crosshairs were drawn last year when Celsius Network, Voyager Digital, FTX, and other large firms went bankrupt, affecting millions of investors in an instant. Since then, investors, skeptics, and traders have hoped for the passage of a crypto-friendly regulation package. Ripple is riding high with its partial victory, and CEO Brad Garlinghouse decided it was the perfect moment to lead a group of top executives to Washington, D.C. for the high-stakes crypto bill with Congress. On July 13, 2023, U.S. District Judge Annalisa Torres issued a summary judgment order, essentially approving Ripple's commercial activities in the United States. The decision highlighted that the business did not violate U.S. securities law by distributing XRP tokens through cryptocurrency exchanges. While the SEC seeks permission to appeal this ruling, a jury trial looms on the horizon, perhaps beginning in the second quarter of 2024. It allowed Ripple to re-enter the U.S. market. KAO Brad Garlinghouse is leading the conversations with Congress, along with important players such as Chief Legal Officer Stuart Alderodi and Vice President Rob Grant. Garlinghouse has emphasized the need of direct connection with political officials, noting can't get regulatory clarity without actually engaging with the elected officials who are proposing bills. However, the original draft to reshape how cryptocurrency assets are handled in the banking sector was roundly rejected by several Democrats on the committee. They feel the plan favors the crypto business too much, which might lead to financial concerns and fraud. However, we have witnessed a shift in sentiment with Senator Elizabeth Warren's recent Digital Asset Anti-Money Laundering Act, which received support from 9 senators, raising concerns about the possible effect on Bitcoin and institutional engagement in the crypto market. Overall, Ripple's visit to Washington, D.C. represents a significant change in the company's approach to the U.S. market. Ripple's new look is fearless. Previously hampered by the SEC case, Ripple's dealings with US-based customers and partners were restricted. The victory has bolstered the company's morale, and they are eager to reclaim the market with a new vision and new policies. The amended Financial Innovation and Technology for the 21st Century Act, as well as the Clarity for Payment Stablecoins Act of 2023, are among the important legislation under consideration. The latter measure is still gaining support from members of the United States Congress. Ripple, as the torchbearer in all crypto regulatory issues, will lead this conversation, opening the door to additional adoption in the horizon.